Stop waiting for the helicopters. They aren't coming. Week 1 was panic. Week 4 was adrenaline. But this is week 10. And if you are still scanning the horizon for a rescue bird, you are already dead. The smell of smoke from the burning cities has finally cleared, replaced by something worse, the smell of rot carried on the wind. The silence isn't peaceful, it's tactical. The world hasn't paused, it has changed management. You are no longer the apex predator. You are livestock behind a flimsy fence, trying to figure out how to live in a slaughterhouse without becoming the meat. Welcome to the new standard operating procedure. Picture this. You are pulling the 0400 watch on the perimeter of your subdivision. The coffee is cold because you ran out of propane 3 days ago. Through your binoculars, you see them on the ridgeline. 2 silhouettes, stumbling, aimless. In week 1, you would have screamed. You would have fired a warning shot. You would have woken the camp. Now, you just watch. You calculate their trajectory. You check the wind direction to see if your scent is drifting toward them. They are part of the landscape now, like hazardous terrain or bad weather. You don't shoot because bullets are finite and noise is a dinner bell. You watch them until they stumble into a ravine, and then you take a sip of your cold sludge. The biggest killer at week 10 isn't the bite. It is the refusal to accept the shift. I have seen groups collapse because they are still living in disaster relief mode. They are rationing food assuming a FEMA truck arrives on Monday. They are burning calories patrolling useless boundaries because they think they can secure a zone. They treat the infected like rioters who will eventually go home. They don't get it. This isn't a riot. This is an ecosystem shift. If you are waiting for the government to flick the switch back on, you are going to starve while watching a dead screen. The event is over. The condition is permanent. Here is the hard truth. Most of you think you have 2 weeks of food. You look at a pantry full of cans and feel safe. But have you calculated the caloric burn of a high-stress environment? Have you factored in spoilage? The math says you probably have 4 days before malnutrition compromises your tactical judgment. Stop guessing. Your gut feeling will get your family killed. Go to protocolsurvival.com right now. Use the free calculator to get your survival score. It tells you exactly how long you last with your current inventory. It is not a game. It is a mortality audit. Get your score before you find out the hard way. Let's talk about your wall. In the story of week 10, you have scavenged fencing from a construction site. It looks solid, but then night falls. You hear the rasping breath of a sleeper, a zombie that went dormant in the tall grass right against your fence line. It's not attacking, it's just waiting. Then a deer bolts nearby. The sleeper wakes up, it thrashes. That sound draws 2 more from the woods. Suddenly, the chain link is groaning under the weight of 3 dead bodies pushing mindlessly forward. The fence holds the weight, but the anchors in the soft mud start to give. You realise too late that a fence isn't a shield, it's just a delay tactic. Novices build fortresses. They board up windows and weld doors shut. They turn their home into a tomb. The problem is, when you seal yourself in, you seal your sensory input out. You can't see the herd gathering on your porch until the wood splinters. In week 10, mobility beats fortification. If you can't exit your safe house in 30 seconds, silently, you have built your own coffin. The failure comes when survivors prioritise keeping them out over getting us out. You need secondary exits, escape tunnels, and breach points more than you need 6 inches of steel on the front door. Now I know what the keyboard commandos are saying. Just dig a moat, Miller. Just use treadmills. Listen to me. Civil engineering requires heavy equipment and fuel you do not have. You want a realistic defense? You need noise decoys. String up cans with pebbles 300 yards out. You need a visual break so they don't see movement in the yard. And you need the steelman argument addressed. Why not just clear the area? Because nature abhors a vacuum. If you clear a 10-mile radius, stragglers will drift in to fill the void. You cannot kill them all. You have to redirect them. Your fence needs to be funnel-shaped, guiding them past your location, not stopping them cold. Flow control, not a dam. Here is the Week 10 complication: decomposition. The zombies are starting to fall apart. This sounds like good news, but it introduces the crawler. Legs rot off or get severed. Now you have a threat that is 12 inches off the ground, moving silently through high grass. Your 6-foot fence? Useless if there's a drainage gap at the bottom. You do a patrol, scanning head height for walkers, and you miss the ankle biter in the weeds. We lost a good medic in 09 because he stepped over a log without checking the other side. The threat profile has lowered, literally. You need clear zones at ground level. Burn the grass. You are sitting at a table with a bowl of reconstituted powdered milk. It is grey and tasteless. Across from you is your 6-year-old daughter. She drinks it, but her eyes are hollow. She doesn't ask for more because she knows there isn't any. That look, that silence, that cuts deeper than any zombie bite. You realise that scavenging is a dying game. The grocery stores were picked clean by the panicked masses in week 2. The warehouses are death traps. If you want her to look at you with hope again, you have to grow food. Not a garden, a farm. And you have to do it in a world where a tractor engine draws death from miles away. People think throwing seeds in the dirt is survival. It's not. It's a hobby. In week 10, the pests are starving too. Deer, rabbits, raccoons, they are emboldened because human traffic has ceased. You plant a crop, and the local wildlife eats it overnight. Then the zombies trample what's left, chasing the deer. The failure here is scale and protection. You rely on a tomato plant when you need caloric density. Potatoes, corn, beans. And you need a fence for the garden that is stronger than the fence for your house. If you lose a crop, you don't just lose dinner, you lose the winter. Let's do the math. An active adult needs 2,500 calories a day. A pound of potatoes is about 350 calories. You need to grow 7 pounds of potatoes per person per day to survive. Do you have the acreage? Do you have the water? This is why the lone wolf dies. You need a team to work the land while others stand guard. And here is the objection I hear. I'll just hunt. No, you won't. Everyone had that idea. The game is overhunted or spooked into deep cover. Plus, firing a rifle to kill a deer attracts a herd that will consume you while you're field dressing the carcass. Silent agriculture is the only long-term sustainment. Hand tools, rain catchers, silence. Here is the nightmare scenario for week 10 agriculture. The water. You are pulling from a creek or a shallow well, but upstream a herd got trapped in a ravine during a flash flood. 50 rotting bodies are soaking in your water source. You water your crops with corpse runoff. You drink it. The infection might not spread through ingestion, the science is still out. But cholera, dysentery and typhus definitely do. You need filtration systems that go beyond boiling. You need sand filters, charcoal layers and rigorous testing. If your water source isn't secure, your fortress is just a hospice. You are on a supply run, hiding in the rafters of a Home Depot. Below you, a cluster of 20 infected are standing still. They aren't moving. They are dormant. Then, a pigeon lands on a shelf and knocks over a paint can. Clang! The reaction is instantaneous. But it's not visual. They don't look up. They converge on the sound. You are taking notes. You realise their eyesight is degrading as the corneas cloud over in the sun. But their hearing? It's hypersensitive. This isn't a horror movie, it's biology. You start keeping a log. Subject 44. Ignores flashlight beam, reacts to snapping twig at 50 metres. This notebook is your Bible. The dead die fast because they treat zombies like they are magic. They think headshots are easy. They think zombies can't climb stairs. They base their survival on cinema. In the real world, a headshot on a moving target at 30 yards is a 1 in 10 shot for a civilian. In the real world, zombies don't get tired. They will batter a door for days until the hinges fail. The failure lies in underestimating the persistence of the enemy. You have to treat them like a floodwater. They don't think, they just pressure. If you assume they follow movie rules, you'll be surprised, and surprise is fatal. We need to talk about the winter slowdown. It is a theory, but it's holding water. As temperatures drop, the chemical reactions in the muscle tissue slow down. They don't freeze solid like popsicles. There is some kind of antifreeze property in the virus. But they get sluggish. This is your window. Week 10 is likely late autumn. You have to maximise your operations when the frost hits. Raid the heavy zones when they are slow. But here is the steel man. Doesn't the cold kill them? No, it preserves them. A frozen zombie is just a paused zombie. When the thaw comes, they wake up hungry. Don't get complacent in the snow. It's just a ceasefire, not a peace treaty. The most dangerous zombie isn't the rotter from week 1. It's the fresh turn. Someone who died 10 minutes ago. Their muscles are intact, their synapses are firing efficiently. They can run. They can vault a fence. We had a guy, a marathon runner, turn after a scavenging accident. He chased our truck for 3 miles. The rotters you can outwalk. The fresh turns are athletes without pain receptors. You need to identify them instantly. Look for the clothes. Are they clean? Is the skin still flushed? If yes, treat that target as a sprinter. Drop them first. Do not hesitate. You need antibiotics. The only place left is the pharmacy in the city centre. You approach the city limits. It's quiet. Too quiet. The cars are gridlocked, rusted veins clogging the streets. You don't walk on the street, you move car top to car top. The ground is lava. Why? Because under those cars, in the shadows, they are waiting. The city is a resonator. A gunshot here echoes for blocks, drawing thousands. You are a mouse in a maze of sleeping cats. You enter the pharmacy through the roof, rappelling down. The air inside is stale, smelling of old cardboard and death. You grab the amoxicillin. Then you hear the glass crunch under a boot. Not yours. Amateurs go into cities to loot. They grab TVs, gold, designer gear. Useless weight. In week 10, value has inverted. A box of tampons is worth more than a diamond ring. A can opener is worth more than a sports car. The failure is lack of mission focus. You go in for one thing, you get that thing, you get out. If you stop to rummage, you increase your time on target. The longer you stay, the higher the probability of a convergence event. A herd moving through an intersection can trap you in a building for days. If you didn't bring enough water to wait them out, you die in that pharmacy. I hear the objection constantly. Why don't we just live in the skyscrapers? Retract the stairs, live in the penthouse. It sounds brilliant. Until the power fails. No elevators. You are hauling 50 pounds of water up 40 flights of stairs every day. That is a caloric suicide mission. And what happens when a fire starts on the 10th floor? You are cooked. And let's address the military argument. The National Guard would clear the cities. With what? Tanks? A tank runs out of fuel. A tank gets stuck in the gridlock of abandoned cars. The cities are logistical nightmares. They are heavy with dead weight. The military retreated to defensible bases. They didn't waste resources clearing New York City room by room. The city belongs to the dead. Think about this. You find a map of the local pharmacies. You take a picture of it with your phone. Great, but in week 10, the grid is dead. The cell towers are cold. Your cloud backup? Gone. If your survival plan relies on Google Drive or a Notes app that needs a server, you are erasing your own memory. You need a system that works when the lights go out forever. I built the Protocol Survival app to be zero dependency. It stores your maps, your inventory, and your medical guides locally on your device. No signal needed. When the world goes offline, your data stays alive. Secure your intel now before the cloud evaporates. The specific danger of the city isn't just the number of zombies, it's the architecture. Streets act as canyons. If a herd enters the north end of Fifth Avenue, they have nowhere to go but south. The pressure builds. If you are in that street, you cannot dodge. You are in a fluid dynamics problem. We call it the funnel effect. A small group of zombies can push a larger group, creating a crushing wave of bodies. You can be crushed to death without ever being bitten. Operations must be conducted perpendicularly to the main avenues. Cut through buildings, move through alleys, never stand in the main river. It's Tuesday. You are in the community centre basement. 10 children are sitting on the floor. They aren't learning algebra. You are holding up a picture of a necrotic limb. What is the first sign, you ask? A 7-year-old raises her hand. Grey veins and fever, she says. You nod. This breaks your heart, but it saves her life. You are building the curriculum. The old world taught them how to be citizens. You are teaching them how not to be food. You run drills. Clear! Moving! Contact front! To them, this isn't a game. It's the only world they know. The zombie apocalypse isn't an event to them. It's just Tuesday. Some parents try to hide the truth. They tell their kids the zombies are sick people who will get better. They keep them inside playing board games, shielding them from the violence. This is negligent homicide. When that kid inevitably encounters a walker, they will hesitate, they will try to help, and they will turn. You have to strip away the innocence to preserve the life. It feels cruel. You feel like a monster telling a child that their favourite neighbour is now a threat that must be neutralised. But guilt is heavier than a grave. Teach them the knife. Teach them the silence. Cry about it later. The objection is always, let kids be kids. The steelman argument is that trauma destroys development. Sure, but death stops development entirely. We aren't creating child soldiers, we are creating aware survivors. The curriculum needs to be written down. Why? Because you won't live forever. If you die on a run tomorrow, who teaches them how to purify water? Who teaches them the difference between edible mushrooms and poison? You need a hard copy manual, not a digital file. Paper and ink. Maps with safe zones marked. A legacy of logistics. You are the founding fathers of this new, terrible nation. Write the Constitution. Here is the dark side of the curriculum. The kids learn too well. They become desensitised. You see a zombie and see a tragedy. They see a target. A 10-year-old putting a knife through a walker's skull without blinking? That's necessary, but it's terrifying. We risk raising a generation of sociopaths because empathy is a liability in the field. You have to teach them the switch. Combat mode on. Humanity mode on. If they lose the ability to care, they become just as dangerous as the things outside the fence. We are surviving to preserve humanity, not just DNA. Sundown. You are back on the ridge. The fire is low, the camp is quiet. You can hear the low moan of the world outside. Week 10 is done. You made it. But week 11 is coming. The supplies are lower, the cold is deeper, the herd is larger. You look at your hands. They are calloused, dirty, stained with the work of survival. You aren't the person you were 3 months ago. That person is dead. You are the barrier. You are the wall. You check your magazine. Full. You check the perimeter. Clear. This isn't a temporary emergency. This is the rest of your life. People ask me what the ultimate survival tool is. They want me to say a rifle or a bunker. They're wrong. The ultimate tool is the refusal to quit. The zombies, they are just entropy given form. They are the universe trying to drag you back into the dirt. Survival is an act of rebellion. Every breath you take is a defiance of the natural order. Keep defying them. Keep the lights on. Because the moment you accept the darkness, you are already one of them. Stay dangerous.